the weird ways animals predict natural disasters. A village in Sri Lanka woke up on the morning of December 26, 2004, expecting an ordinary day. The ocean looked normal. Sky looked normal. Nothing felt wrong. But something strange was happening. The elephants had already left. Hours before anyone knew a tsunami was coming, herds of elephants began moving inland. Dogs refused to go for walks near the beach. Deer abandoned feeding areas and disappeared into higher ground. Then the wave arrived. The Indian Ocean tsunami killed more than 230,000 people across 14 countries. But in several wildlife reserves near the coast, researchers noticed something unusual afterward. Very few animal bodies were found. So the question became obvious. Did the animals know? And if they did, how? At first, this sounds like one of those stories people tell after a disaster. The kind that grows larger every time it's repeated. But then scientists started looking. And the evidence kept getting stranger. Long before modern weather forecasts existed, humans were already paying attention to animal behavior. Ancient Greek fishermen reportedly watched seabirds before storms. Chinese records describe unusual animal movements before earthquakes. Roman writers documented rats abandoning buildings before structural collapses. For most of history, people assumed animals possessed some mysterious sixth sense. Modern science usually dislikes explanations that sound mysterious. But when researchers began studying the subject seriously, they discovered something surprising. Animals don't need magic. Their senses are already far beyond ours. Take elephants. Humans hear frequencies between roughly 20 and 20,000 Hz. Elephants can detect sounds far below that range. These extremely low-frequency sounds are called infrasound. Many natural disasters produce them. Volcanic eruptions, massive storms, earthquakes, tsunamis. All of them generate low-frequency vibrations that can travel enormous distances. Long before humans see danger, elephants may literally hear it approaching. And elephants are not alone. In 1975, a city in northeastern China became the center of one of the strangest disaster stories ever recorded. The city was called Haicheng. In the months leading up to a major earthquake, residents began reporting unusual animal behavior. Snakes emerged from hibernation despite freezing temperatures. Rats behaved erratically. Livestock became agitated. Government officials took the reports seriously. Then they noticed unusual geological activity as well. The city was evacuated. A day later, a magnitude 7.3 earthquake struck. Thousands of buildings collapsed. Because of the evacuation, many lives were saved. To this day, scientists still debate exactly how much animal behavior contributed to the decision. But the reports remain. And they raise an uncomfortable possibility. Maybe some animals detect things we're completely blind to. But here's where the story gets complicated. For every success story, there are failures. Many earthquakes happen with no obvious animal warning at all. Researchers have spent decades trying to find a consistent pattern. The results are frustrating. Sometimes animals react. Sometimes they don't. Which suggests something important. Animals are probably not predicting disasters. They're reacting to physical signals humans can't easily detect. The difference matters. Prediction sounds supernatural. Detection sounds biological. And biology can be astonishing. Consider birds. Many migratory birds possess something that still feels almost impossible. They can sense Earth's magnetic field. Imagine closing your eyes and somehow knowing where north is at all times. That's reality for many species. Scientists believe specialized proteins in their eyes may help them perceive magnetic information. In a sense, birds may be seeing parts of the world that humans cannot experience directly. Now imagine what happens when a major geological event begins disrupting local magnetic conditions. Some researchers think birds might notice changes long before humans detect anything unusual. Then there are sharks. Sharks possess organs called ampullae of Lorenzini. Tiny sensors capable of detecting incredibly weak electrical fields. Every muscle movement creates electrical activity. Every heartbeat creates electrical activity. A shark can detect signals so faint they seem almost impossible to measure. This allows them to find prey hidden beneath sand, navigate across oceans, and potentially notice environmental disturbances invisible to us. The ocean is constantly carrying information. Pressure changes, electrical changes, vibrations, chemical signals. What looks silent to a human may be overwhelming to an animal designed to read it. But perhaps the strangest examples involve storms. Before hurricanes arrive, many animals begin changing their behavior. Birds alter migration routes. Insects disappear. Fish move deeper. Domestic animals become restless. For years, nobody understood exactly why. Then researchers discovered something fascinating. Powerful storms create changes in atmospheric pressure long before they arrive. Humans usually don't notice these changes. Many animals do. A study on birds found that some species left nesting grounds days before severe storms arrived. Not hours. Days. They weren't reading weather forecasts. Their bodies were reading the atmosphere itself. The storm wasn't visible yet. But the pressure changes already existed. And that information was enough. Then something even stranger happened. In 2011, scientists studying golden-winged warblers in North America noticed a bizarre pattern. The birds suddenly abandoned breeding grounds and flew hundreds of miles away. At the time, the weather near them was completely normal. Nothing appeared threatening. Then a massive tornado system developed far away. Researchers later concluded the birds may have detected infrasound generated by the storm system itself. They left before danger was even close. Imagine hearing a tornado from hundreds of miles away. That sounds impossible. For humans, it is. For certain animals, maybe not. And that's what makes this topic so difficult. Every species experiences reality differently. Humans rely heavily on vision. We trust what we can see. Animals often rely on entirely different systems. A dog experiences the world through scent. A bat experiences it through sound. A shark experiences it through electrical fields. A bird may experience parts of Earth's magnetic structure. An elephant can hear frequencies that never reach conscious human awareness. They're not necessarily smarter. They're just receiving different information. Think about a radio. If it's tuned to one frequency, it hears one station. Change the frequency and suddenly an entirely different world appears. Animals may simply be tuned to channels humans cannot access. Which brings us back to earthquakes. One leading theory involves gases. Before certain earthquakes, rocks deep underground can release gases into soil and groundwater. These chemical changes may occur before major seismic activity. Animals with highly sensitive noses might detect those changes long before instruments do. Dogs possess roughly 300 million scent receptors. Humans have about 6 million. To a dog, the environment is filled with information we never notice. If underground chemistry changes before an earthquake, they may be among the first to know something is different. Not because they understand earthquakes. Because they smell change. And sometimes that's enough. But here's the most important thing scientists have learned. Animal behavior alone is unreliable. You cannot build a warning system based entirely on frightened dogs or nervous birds. The data simply isn't consistent enough. Animals are influenced by countless factors. Weather. Predators. Food availability. Social behavior. Random disturbances. A frightened animal does not automatically mean disaster is approaching. That's why modern scientists remain cautious. The goal isn't to replace instruments with animals. It's to understand what information animals might be detecting. In some cases, they may provide clues, additional signals, pieces of a larger puzzle. And that puzzle keeps producing surprises. In 2020, researchers attached tracking devices to farm animals in earthquake-prone regions. They monitored cows, dogs, sheep. The idea was simple. If animals consistently react before seismic activity, perhaps large-scale monitoring could help identify patterns humans have missed. The results were intriguing but complicated. Some unusual activity appeared before certain earthquakes. Other earthquakes produced almost no reaction. The mystery remains unsolved. And maybe that's why people find this topic so fascinating. Because it sits directly on the border between the known and the unknown. We know animals detect things we cannot. That's not speculation. That's established science. Dogs smell diseases. Birds sense magnetic fields. Elephants hear infrasound. Sharks detect electricity. Those abilities are real. The question is how far those abilities go. And whether natural disasters accidentally reveal senses we rarely think about. The tsunami story illustrates this perfectly. Did the elephants understand what a tsunami was? Almost certainly not. Did they hear distant vibrations generated by an event occurring hundreds or thousands of kilometers away? Possibly. Did they detect something unusual and respond according to instincts refined over millions of years? Very likely. And perhaps that's the most remarkable part of all this. Animals don't need to understand disasters. They only need to survive them. Evolution doesn't reward explanations. It rewards results. An elephant doesn't need geology. A bird doesn't need meteorology. A shark doesn't need physics. If reacting to certain signals increased survival over countless generations, those reactions stayed. The animals that ignored them disappeared. The ones that responded remained. Over millions of years, tiny advantages become extraordinary abilities. And humans often forget how unusual our own species is. We built machines, satellites, weather stations, seismic sensors, supercomputers. We outsourced many survival tasks to technology. Animals never did. Their bodies remained the technology. Their senses remained the instruments. Their instincts remained the software. And sometimes, during rare moments when nature becomes violent enough, those ancient systems reveal themselves. A herd suddenly changes direction. Birds vanish from the sky. Dogs refuse to approach a certain area. Fish move deeper. Something invisible passes through the environment. The animals notice. Humans don't. At least not yet. Then later, when scientists arrive with instruments and data, they occasionally discover the animals were responding to something real all along. Not magic. Not prophecy. Not a supernatural warning. Just information. Information hidden inside vibrations, pressure changes, electrical fields, magnetic disturbances, and chemical signals. Information that was always there. Information our species simply wasn't built to perceive. And that might be the strangest part of this entire story. When humans look at animals reacting before disasters, we often ask whether they can sense something supernatural. But the better question may be the opposite. How much of reality exists around us right now that we never notice at all? Because every disaster animals appear to predict reminds us of something uncomfortable. The world is far larger than our senses suggest. And for millions of years, creatures all around us have